Alonso left, Wirtz was sold, and Leverkusen unravelled almost immediately. Schick opened the season with their first goal, and after SG Sonnenhof Gross Asbach went down to 10, they pulled clear late for a 4-0 DFB Pokal win to advance to the second round. Hoffenheim left the Bay Arena with a 2-1 league win, despite Kwanzaa's early strike. They responded with a 3-3 draw in Bremen, as Schick scored twice and Niklas Stark's red card shaped the game before Koulibaly's late leveller. Grimaldo scored twice in a 3-1 win over Eintracht Frankfurt, but 2 red cards of their own kept the performance from ever feeling fully settled. Their first Champions League outing of the season ended 2-2 in Copenhagen, with Larsen striking early, Grimaldo levelling late, Robert restoring the hosts' lead, and a stoppage-time own goal rescuing the point. Tillman's opener had them on course at the Bay Arena, but Borussia Mönchengladbach found a stoppage-time equaliser for a 1-1 draw. Back on the road after the home draw, they beat St. Pauli 2-1 with Tapsoba and Poku on target. Kofane earned them a 1-1 Champions League draw at home to PSV Eindhoven. Domestic play resumed with a 2-0 home win over Union Berlin, Poku and Kofane doing the damage. They carried their winning run onto the road at Mainz and edged a wild 4-3 thriller, with Grimaldo scoring twice and Terrier striking late for the winner. PSG turned their Champions League night at the Bay Arena into a brutal 7-2 defeat, and Andrić's first-half red card made the collapse even harder to escape, despite Garcia's double. Poku and Tapsoba scored in a 2-0 win over Freiburg, with Philipp Lienhardt sent off for the visitors. The cup tie at home Deluxe Arena swung after Guts's red card, as they came from behind to beat SC Paderborn 4-2, with late goals from Kwanzaa, Mazza and Garcia. Gnabry and Jackson struck before Barde's own goal sealed a 3-0 league defeat to Bayern Munich. Schick's finish earned them a 1-0 win at Benfica. Schick and Mazza both scored twice in a 6-0 thrashing of Heidenheim at the Bay Arena. Back on the road, they kept the momentum going and moved into third in the table with a 3-1 win over Wolfsburg, Hoffmann, Tapsoba and Tillman all finding the net. Grimaldo and Schick struck as they silenced Manchester City 2-0 at the Etihad. Back in league action, they were beaten 2-1 by Borussia Dortmund at the Bay Arena, despite Kofane's late reply. In the DFB Pokal at Signal Iduna Park, they went through to the quarter-finals as Mazza struck the winner in a 1-0 win over Borussia Dortmund. Augsburg made it a league setback, with Giannoulis and Kade striking early to leave them with a 2-0 loss. Bruno Guimarães' own goal opened a 2-2 Champions League draw with Newcastle at the Bay Arena before Grimaldo rescued a late point. Köln were beaten 2-0 at the Bay Arena, with Terrier and Andrich both finding the net after the break. They hit back at RB Leipzig and finished strong with a goal at the death as Kulbreth struck in the 90th minute after Terrier and Schick had turned it around. Stuttgart handed them a heavy 4-1 home loss, with Leveling scoring twice before Grimaldo's penalty on 66 brought up 10 goals in all competitions. The slide continued in Hoffenheim, with the return to the road ending in another 1-0 defeat. Their Champions League night in Piraeus ended with a 2-0 defeat as Costinha struck early and Taremi added the second before the break. Lucas' first-half goal was enough at the Bay Arena as they beat Werder Bremen 1-0. They closed the Champions League stage with a 3-0 home win over Villarreal, as Tillman scored twice and Grimaldo added the third. Arthur and Tillman put them in control at Frankfurt, and after Koch pulled one back, Skiri's red card shifted the game before Garcia sealed the 3-1 win in added time. Terrier set them on the way to a 3-0 DFB Pokal win over St. Pauli. Schick made it 10 goals in all competitions, and Hoffmann added one in stoppage time to send them through to the semi-finals. Engelhardt put Borussia Mönchengladbach in front, but Sander's own goal earned them a 1-1 league draw. St. Pauli were swept aside at the Bay Arena in a 4-0 league win, with Kwanzaa, Schick, Tapsoba and Poku on the scoresheet. Schick struck twice in Athens as they beat Olympiakos Piraeus 2-0 in the Champions League first leg. Union Berlin brought them back down to earth in the league, with Khedira's goal settling a 1-0 defeat. Olympiakos Piraeus were held 0-0 in the home second leg, and they went through 2-0 on aggregate to the last 16 of the Champions League. Kwanzaa struck late to rescue a 1-1 league draw at home to Mainz. Kofane Skol earned a 1-0 league win away to Hamburger SV. Carrying their momentum into Freiburg, they twice hit back to reach 3-3, with Kofane, Grimaldo and Terrier all on target before Ginter's equaliser on 86 minutes. Champions League tension at the Bay Arena ended 1-1 with Arsenal, as Andrich scored after the break before Havertz's late penalty left the last 16 tie level after the first leg. Garcia gave them an early lead against Bayern, but Diaz levelled in the second half, and even 2 Bayern red cards were not enough to turn 1-1 into a statement win. Arsenal ended their Champions League run at the Emirates, beating them 2-0 as Eze and Rice sealed a 3-1 aggregate exit. At Heidenheim, they were held to a 3-3 draw, with Schick's brace taking him to 15 goals in all competitions, before Pieringa's late second goal denied them the win. Grimaldo struck twice as they beat Wolfsburg 6-3 at the Bay Arena, with Schick reaching 10 league goals and Tillman adding the late 6th in a wild home win. And Andrich's first half goal was enough to beat Borussia Dortmund 1-0 and extend their unbeaten league run to 7. Schick put them ahead, but Augsburg won 2-1 at the Bay Arena as Ryder scored twice, including the last-minute winner. Bayern ended their DFB Pokal run in the semi-final, Kane striking first before Diaz sealed a 2-0 defeat and a painful cup exit. Schick's brace earned a 2-1 win over Köln and sealed European qualification. They carried their momentum at the Bay Arena, beating RB Leipzig 4-1 as Schick hit a hat-trick to reach 15 league goals and move them into 4th. Garcia gave them an early lead, but Stuttgart turned it around to win 3-1, and the defeat dropped them to 6th. On the final day, Kwanzaa rescued a late 1-1 draw against Hamburger SV, stretching their league scoring run to 12 matches. Alonso's departure and Wirtz's sale left Leverkusen exposed, and the early collapse defined the season. Ten Hag was gone within 2 months, the aura of dominance disappeared, and the rest of the campaign became a fight to stabilise. Hjulmand restored some order, guiding them into the Champions League round of 16 and the Pokal semi-final, but the final picture was still 6th place. For a team that had looked untouchable, this season showed how quickly control can vanish.